Right, first hand action on Steve.
200.
Looks at a jack six of clubs. He says, I want to make it 200 grand to go.
He's going to be aggressive and raise it, but Brook quickly calls him with the jack eight.
Two-handed, you got to open up the game that much more. Both players know it. Let's see the flop.
Well, the flop comes king 9-7 with two spades. Action on Brook.
Well, Brook with the inside straight draw checks it. And Steve, nothing hitting on the flop.
Is he going to make a stab at this pot, though? Yes, he is.
Yeah, he's going to continue the charade with a bet.
Yep, bet's $250,000.
Back on Brook with just an inside straight draw.
Brook does have the gut shot straight draw. 10 would make him a straight. Brook has the kind of hand that you want to bet at the pot, I think, rather than call. If you're going to check and call, in my view, you should have bet to start with.
Well, we've seen players before. Sometimes they call to later on take the pot if they don't hit. He is going to make this call.
Well, he has made the call. So let's see what develops. Over $900,000 in the pot.
Here comes the 4th street.
Well, a 5 comes off. Now this gives Brooks a two-way straight draw. A 6 would give him a straight as well as a 10. He checks it. And notice that Steve has made a gut shot straight draw. An 8 would give him a straight.
And it's checked behind him. Steve not going anywhere with that. And the river card.
3 of clubs. No help to either player. This is the kind of pot that whoever fires at is probably going to win it.
Now will Brook take a shot at this pot? Nope.
Brook checks. The only way Steve can win this pot is to bet at it. But remember, he just has a jack 6. He raised before the flop got called. He bet on the flop, he got called.
See, he's going to bet $350,000. What a gutsy play. He's going to be successful with it.
Yep, Brook lays down the hand.
And Steve Paul's mom, Kathy, and sister Kirsten rooting on their young man.
Chalk one up to Steve Paul Ambrose for being aggressive and firing on the river, Vince. Had he checked at the river, he would have lost that pot. Well, Vince, this student who's studying chemistry and economics took one step closer to stuffing Brook down the test tube by winning that pot with a bet.
All right, action back down on Brook Leiter. From Fargo, this time looking down at Jack 4.
Call.
Well, he's going to make the call. He limps in on the button.
And the college kid, Steve Paul Ambrose, he's got a pretty good hand. King 10, but he says no.
Well, that's a hand you might raise with after your opponent limped in, but Steve got the chip lead now, so he says, just give us a flop.
2 queens and a 6. First to act, Steve.
He's going to lead out and bet now with the king high.
Bets $95,000 into Brook. Brook says no mas. And just like that, Steve Paul Ambrose taking that pot.
So far, these guys have fought 2 rounds. Both have gone to the Canadian here. Steve Paul Ambrose.
Well, the chip stack's about the same. Steve Paul Ambrose with about $3.8 million. Brook Leiter from Fargo with about 3.4.
Well, a dream going to come true for one of these amateurs, that's for sure.
Action on Steve. This time looking down at a Queen 10 offsuit.
And he calls.
Raise.
Now on Brook, and he quickly says raise. He's got King Jack in his hand.
Good poker instincts by Brook here. He feels if his opponent didn't raise before the flop, his King Jack is the best hand. And indeed, he's correct.
Makes it $440,000 to go.
Yeah, a healthy raise, Vince, of $360,000.
Now, does Steve want to stay involved here?
He's going to make the call.
Yes,
He's got the chip lead. He's got position. He's going to gamble with the Queen 10. So $900,000 in the pot right now. It's King Jack for Brook. Queen 10 for Steve.
Here comes the flop. Oh, man, look at this. It's Jack 9 deuce. Top pair for Brook.
Brook has top pair. Steve flopped an open-end straight draw.
Red alert time. Brook checking his hand. Top pair with a big kicker.
Well, he's betting $300,000. That's not a very big bet into a $900,000 pot.
Just a tempting bet.
And that's what Steve is trying to put together here.
Steve with the open-ended straight draw.
It's a cheap way for Steve to be able to draw here, I think. I mean, I can't imagine Steve's thinking about throwing this hand away. There's $1.2 million out there, costing $300,000 to call, and he's got an open-end straight draw.
Steve Paul Ambrose from Waterloo, Canada. A student studying chemistry and economics.
If he wins this tournament, he can put his economics into play, that's for sure. Nearly $1.4 million to the winner. Look at this, Vince. He's getting out a lot more chips other than that $300,000. We've seen Steve win pots time and time again today without having the best hand. So he understands the concept of betting and how important it is.
1.5 total.
He's making it $1.5 million to go.
On the come, open-ended straight draw.
Well, he suspected that small bet by Brooke didn't represent that strong of a hand. Little does he know Brooke has the top pair here. And now you see Brooks. What he's wondering is, does this guy really have me beat? Can he beat these jacks?
I think he thinks he's in front. I mean, wouldn't Steve have raised before the flop if he had him beat with a jack with a bigger kicker?
Well, there's a potential flush on the board, a potential straight on the board.
I think you have me covered, don't you?
Yes, he does,
Very
Brooks.
close.
That is correct, sir.
I've got another 1 point.
Well, as the cards lie, they put all the money in the pot. There's no more betting.
Got another two
Brooke would be
yellows.
about a
I've got
3-2
1.9.
favorite to win this pot. So he does have the best hand, but he doesn't know it.
Even though your instincts tell you might be out in front, it's still scary.
Very scary, especially when you're playing for $1.4 million.
He's thinking to himself, this ain't no Fargo home game. This has gotten roughed up here a little bit.
The boys in my poker league back home don't play this tough.
That's right.
Probably slow played a big hand. Queens? I don't think you would. Why would you smooth call my raise if you had bigger than jacks?
Brooke Leiter, and with the decision of his lifetime. What is he going to do?
Well, he's got about $3 million left, Vince. Cost him $1.3 million to call here.
I'm all in.
He's going all in.
Oh, boy. Yes, he has.
Well, he has done it.
Just a big draw. I call. I have to call.
And Steve says, I have to call. I've got too big a draw.
And this is it.
Well, this could be it.
That was a bad hand.
If
for you.
Steve outdraws his opponent here, he'll be our champion. Steve is going to be trying to catch an 8 or a king to make a straight. A queen would give him the best hand right now.
And they shake hands. Brooke in a nice position. He would not break Steve if his hand should hold up, but it would be pretty close.
Well, this is what it's come down to, folks. They played for 5 days. All this money on the line, a WPT title at stake. You know, Steve started this final table by taking out Ozzie Shake on hand number 1 when he had 2-7 and Ozzie had 2 aces. Would it be fitting that if he outdrew the final opponent on the last hand as well?
And Steve's little sister, Kirsten, saying prayers.
I'll take a clean.
Well, he's been catching all night long. All night long, except for that one debacle. But other than that, he is the suck-out king. And he needs one more suck-out.
That's a little harsh. Just got called the suck-out king.
Well, of course, Steve looking for a king or an 8 that would give him a straight. A queen would give him a lead in the pot.
Come on, baby.
Here comes the turn. It's a queen. Steve has taken the lead. That is a devastating card for Brooke Leiter. And I say that because he cannot win if a king comes up anymore. He would win if a 10 comes up. He needs a jack or a 10 to win this pot. And right now, Steve is nearly a 90% favorite, Vince, to take this title.
Well, Brooke is in disbelief. He ripped off the glasses. He is stunned, just staring down at the board.
This is amazing and only fitting, I suppose, for the way the final table has gone. Can an outdraw capture this title?
Steve, Paul Ambrose
I have the best
potentially could be one of the youngest winners ever on the World Poker Tour. He is 1 card away at this moment.
So here we go, both players staring down at the river. If it's not a jack or a 10, Steve Paul Ambrose from Canada will be our champion.
Here it comes.
It's a king. He's made a king out of straight. That's going to win the pot.
Steve Paul Ambrose.
He has won this tournament match by outdrawing his opponent.
Gonna win the tournament in Atlantis, taking on $1,388,000. Never before have we seen such an onslaught of outdraws.
The 22-year-old from Ontario, Canada, is our champion. talk to our champion from Ontario, Canada, Steve Paul Ambrose. Steve, what a show you put on here today. I mean, literally, you were the most aggressive player at the table consistently throughout this final table, but certainly you had your share of good luck at the final table as well. Tell us what it's like to be 22 years old and taking down over $1.3 million.
Well, it's pretty fantastic. I don't really know what I'm going to do with the money, but this is the time of my life. I'd like to thank PokerStars in Atlantis for hosting this thing. It was fantastic. Thanks a lot.
Well, congratulations to you, Steve. Just a terrific job. A great champion. We're going to see you again down the road, I'm sure. Congratulations to you. And now it's time to toast our champion with Budweiser, the official beer of the World Poker Tour. Here's to our champion from Ontario, Canada, Steve Paul Ambrose. For Vince Van Patten, Courtney Friel, and everyone at the World Poker Tour, I'm Mike Sexton saying thanks for watching. And until next time, may all your cards be live and your pots be monsters.